wild goose jerky. And so a neighbor gave us some wild goose meat, and I'm going to use my little grinder, grind it up, and then use the jerky cannon. I had never heard of one of these before, but I got a jerky cannon, and I thought this could be used for making pastries, making jerky, all kinds of neat things you could do with a jerky cannon. So I'm going to start by grinding. Okay, I've got my goose breast, wild goose breast, all nice and ground up. I'm using a white and old little grinder. I don't even know if they make these anymore. Apparently this one ground a lot of moose meat back in its day by the people who gave it to me later on, many decades later. So now I'm using it for making some goose jerky. Next I'm gonna get to chopping up some garlic and mixing up some spices and sugar to mix into the ground goose. That's what gives it its yummy flavor. And then we're gonna put it through the jerky cannon and then smoke it. Back, and I have all my ingredients assembled. So I've got the ground goose, and I'm using pounded yam. It's white sweet potatoes. Pound it really fine. It's a really nice binder. It doesn't add any flavor, and it's gluten-free. And I've got a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, gluten-free. I'm going to use just a bit of Tabasco because that'll give it a little bit of heat. A 1/2 teaspoon of soy sauce, not soy sauce, sesame seed oil, which gives it that nice little bit of flavor. And I'm going to use, I ended up adding 3 cloves of garlic and 1 teaspoon of salt, and I was using approximately 4 pounds. This is going to be fresh pressed garlic. Too bad we can't make TV with smell-o-vision because the garlic smells incredibly good. And just a smidge of hot sauce. I put in 5 drops. Some people just don't like the heat, can't take the heat. It has 2 tablespoons of cane sugar, and this also has a tablespoon of very fine powdered black pepper. It really, really mixed in super nice. And now I can just let this rest for an hour or so, and then I can put it into the turkey cannon and put it on the racks and put it into the smoker. I'm using an electric barbecue smoker. It actually burns the pellets and makes an abundant amount of wonderful smelling smoke. Okay, so that's going to go back in the fridge and rest a bit again and get it all its flavors marrying together and getting delicious, hopefully. I found that the spoon works really well because the funnel I have has a nice big wide funnel part, or wide mouth at the end of the tip of the funnel, but it's too wide to go inside this jerky cannon. And okay, it just needed a little bit of condensing, a little bit of working with it. Okay, so let's see how this works. Time to try. So you just squeeze the handle. I'm sure it's squeezing out a bit of air. And that is actually quite lovely as jerky. It's just staying there. The meat and then that sweet potato flour was just the right amount. I have to speed up a little bit so it's not so wrinkly. There. That's a little better speed. And I will have my taste testers, which of course is my family, taste test this. I'm going to be using my electric smoker. It, as I said before, it heats up the pellets and smolders them so that it produces some pretty beautiful smoke. I'm going to try to do one more row here, or as far as I can. I think there's enough room. I can move it over. Okay. And there it is, all set in the pan. Okay, I am going according to the grid lines now on the rack, on the baking rack. I have greased this one also. And doing this a little faster. Moving it along a little faster. And it's going smoother. I smoked this at 350 degrees for 35 minutes. I let it cool inside the smoker with the lid shut. When it was completely cooled, I took it out and broke it into strips and set it into this little airtight container to freeze, and it's already all gone.